Did you get that message recording in progress?
I did now.
That's good. You might want to just keep a mental note of that instead of stopping the video in the middle of it next time.
Oh God.
Still haven't loaded our
Okay.
other video.
So,
All right.
ready?
I'm ready.
Go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Amma and Kevin. And today's conversation is about a season for change. Kevin and I are going to share with you our journey into life coaching. If you're new to our channel, I'm a confidence coach. I help you to navigate all the challenges and ups and downs of wanting more, being more, doing more, and sometimes that little self-doubt that tells you you can't. We work together to make sure that you build the skill set to be able to overcome those obstacles and go for that more that you deserve. And you, Kevin?
Nice. Hi, and welcome everyone. I'm Kevin. I'm a performance mindset coach. I basically concentrate in the field of leadership and helping people achieve greater results in either their management role, their leadership role, their personal lives, achieving the goals that you've always thought you wanted to get to, but for some reason you've not been able to reach those. And I work very closely with people one-on-one and in groups to get them where they want to go.
Excellent. That's fantastic. So today we're going to dive into the story behind how we both became coaches. My journey started in 2020 during the pandemic. I took a course with Virtual Coach, an organization run by Eben Pagan and Annie Lala. And I decided to become a coach. But actually, I've always, for the last maybe 25, 30 years, I've always been dabbling in personal development for my own growth. And I always felt it's something that one day in time and life, I'd like to be able to be on the other end of supporting clients as opposed to being trained myself.
Nice.
I'm stuck.
It just froze.
Pause.
Did you see that?
Okay.
Where it
Cut
just
that
froze.
bit and let's
And
continue.
yes, let's go.
Let's go. So, yes, I knew that I had a perfectly decent job. I was working for a corporate company, well paid. Everybody admired my job and was excited about it. But there was always a little niggly whisper inside of me that I love marketing. I love the hospitality industry, but I enjoy more about empowering people and making them feel good and marketing themselves to them as opposed to the brands that had recruited me to work on their behalf. So I've just switched sides, basically. I'm still more or less a marketer,
Mm.
a coach. We help you to believe in the dreams that are in the future or it's not yet in your reality and help it to become a reality and a lived experience. So I still consider myself a marketeer, but just working on people to believe in themselves and to understand that they can achieve anything that they want if they're willing to put in the time, to be disciplined, to put in the routine, the rituals, the habits to make sure that they attain those goals. And I believe we
Oh,
can all have a lot more if we're also surrounded with the right level of support and faith in us. Coaches
mhm.
come into your life to help you see yourself bigger. Very
Yeah.
often, the reason we don't achieve as much as we want to is because we're seeing ourselves in our smallness. But I never see my clients in their smallest. I see them in their future successful version and then help them to get there. So I'm never working face to face with the person in front of me. I'm working
Mhm.
for his or her future successful self and yeah, holding their hand, guiding them to get to that version.
That's great.
How about you, Kevin?
You know what? It was funny because I same thing. Like it was in 2020, and
Mhm.
I just found myself in a little bit of a situation for a health reason, and I wasn't able to continue. I don't think I would have been able to continue doing the job I was doing because of COVID anyway.
Mhm.
So it would have basically shut down. But because of that, and my heart surgery and stuff, I just used the time that I was recovering to kind of do the same thing. Like I had worked in the government and things like that before, and I, started a bunch of programs that I never finished. And I thought, I should take care of these and do that. And while I was recovering, I finished up a number of courses in leadership, and I did a neurolinguistic programming um, series with Tony Kay, actually in Australia. Um, and I got my certificate in that, and then I continued that and got my master's. And ultimately, that's what led me to coaching as well. And like you, I was kind of, I've always been in kind of a training role of some sort in a lot of my previous positions and such with
Yes.
the government. And so it seemed like a natural sort of flow to go
Yeah.
into. Um, I wasn't really sure exactly what capacity I wanted to do at the time. And I think I started out like as a general kind of life coach as well. And then ultimately, I think, as with anyone that gets into coaching and they feel that they're in the niche that they want to be in, but ultimately you find out through your connections and the kind of clients that you're attracting what your actual niche is, right? And
Mm.
mine ultimately ended up being, you know, business, but in that you're still like I'm still that's why I kind of changed the mindset because there's so much involved in that, like your business, but then your home life and your balance and all of that and all the issues that you have and the difficulties that you're facing. You need coaching in all aspects of your life. So it kind of covered everything that I was interested in and what I enjoyed doing. And I love, the clients that I acquire over the last few years have been really amazing and very diverse and different from each other. Lots of different issues and such. So it's been really a good experience, and I've really enjoyed it and liked it. Um, and you get exposed yourself to so many different things, and you
Yeah.
continuously learn,
Mm.
from what other people are bringing to you and bringing to the table. I've had so many clients that have come to me for business purposes to increase their business, to do more and better. And I've learned so much from them, in some of the things that they've been doing with their business and how, they've progressed with theirs that, I've even taken on some of their habits and procedures to help my business, right? So it's always kind of a win-win situation,
Yeah.
but it's the it's when you get those messages that say like, thank you so much, you changed my life. Like when you get those, then you're in the right place. Like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? And like every business that anybody runs, it doesn't matter what it is, you're gonna have difficult periods of time and you're gonna
Yeah.
have quiet periods of time, you're gonna have a ton of clients, you're gonna have zero clients, right? And it really just happens. You're changing your format, you're changing different things all the time to make sure that you're accommodating the clients that you do have. So, there's ebbs and flows, right? And as a new person, like coaching's been around for a very long time, but it's really exploded in the last few years. And I think there's a lot of, people that think they're coaches, but they're not coaches. I think one of the things that I discovered very quickly was that a lot of places that you sign up for to basically teach you how to coach, teach you how to sell, but not how to coach, right?
Mm.
And there's a big difference between selling a coaching business and being a coach, right?
Mm.
And being, it's a combination of a mentor and a coach. It's a number of different things. So again, a big learning curve and experience, when you're starting out as one and you see and go through a lot of different people that, you know, um, are not really doing what they should be doing in terms of calling themselves a coach. So,
Mm. It's so interesting you say that, Kevin, because absolutely, I mean, coaching has been around for a while. In the UK,
mhm.
it's not as big as it is in the US. We're
Yeah,
slowly adopting to it, but it's becoming more and more popular. And yes, like you said, since COVID, the idea of getting support, right? People get support to buy a house, they get
Mhm.
support for accounts, but getting emotional, mental, psychological support is now becoming a mainstream thing, like having a
Yeah.
gym membership. So more and more people are understanding coaching. But you're
Yes.
quite right, because there's so many variety of coaches, and not all coaches who, or not all service providers who call themselves coaches are coaches.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain what a coach is to people watching? What is coaching?
So for me, what I generally say to my clients, when they ask about like, why do you think coaching is going to help me?
Mm,
Coaching is helping someone to draw on their experiences and their abilities to help them achieve the outcome that they want, right? So I liken it to like, so there's mentor, there's therapy, and there's coaching. So
mhm,
a mentor is somebody that you follow and you emulate to do, like you say, like, I want to be a salesperson in this field. So you would find a salesperson in that field and you would follow them, and then that person would mentor you and say, like, this is, you got to do 100 calls, you got to do this, you got to do that. And that's what you do, right? And then a therapist will help you to go back and find out why you're having difficulty or struggling with different things. And coaching helps you to realize skill sets that you have lying dormant within
mm,
you, that you're not utilizing and you're not using to do to the best of your knowledge and the best of your abilities, right? And
mm,
as a coach, you don't tell people what to do. You show them how to
mm,
do that. You show them how to constantly progress forward and bring out what their capabilities are and what they have to do to see what's in front of them. So you teach
mm,
people how to, you know, leave the past where it belongs and
mm,
move on from it, right? Go back. So instead of like, so, you've got somebody that's dwelling on their past and, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. Or, I wish this didn't happen. Well, you know what? It did happen. But here's something. Look at that situation that you went through. What did you learn from that? Like, why are you more empowered by that? Make your past your superpower. Like, make all of your problems your superpower. So how do you turn that difficult situation into something that's going to work for you? So, well, I was very determined to get through it. I overcame depression, sometimes suicide. Like, people get so depressed that they overcome that. They change their jobs. They taught themselves new things. They picked themselves up and they kept moving forward. Those are strengths that you help people develop and people realize, right? So you take them away from that. You take them away from being stuck in the past and dwelling on it, and then you stop them from uh, anxiety and hope of like, oh, what's going to happen? What if this happens? Like, what if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't work out? So you stop them from doing that as well by showing them that, by living in the present,
mm,
you're allowing yourself to see the opportunities that are in front of you, because you're not spending your time worrying about past and future. You're
mm,
now, you're living in the now, and you're
mm,
you're showing them how to take themselves from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, so
mm,
that they're learning from every experience that they have. And
mm,
when something occurs that they feel like, ah, why is this happening to me? Like, why does this always happen to me?
mm,
Right? You teach them and show them how to turn that into something like, okay, this is happening to me, there's a reason this is happening to me, how can I
mm,
turn this into something that's going to work for me, right?
mm,
Like, how am I going to make that happen? So that's what coaching helps you do. That coaching helps you balance your life
mm,
at work and at home. It helps you to realize what your potential is so that you gain and instill confidence in yourself.
mm,
It helps you to see other people for what they are and what
mm,
they're capable of doing, and how their opinions of you don't matter to
mm,
you. Only you matter to you, and what you say to yourself teaches you how negative self-talk can actually destroy
mm.
your ability to move forward, right? So all of those things, it's all about taking the person and turning them into the best version of themselves, essentially.
Beautifully explained. And I just want to add a little bit more to that.
Mhm.
Um, I agree with everything you said. And in my own way, coaching is also understanding that human beings were always going through a transition or transformation. Wherever you are now, you're either going into a problem, coming out of a problem, or starting a new problem.
Exactly.
And those transitions can be a bit wobbly, where you go through a period of confusion, anxiety, stress, and a coach appears to remind you that either you're capable or more resilient than you believe, to help you to fix on the positive, because like you said, if you're fixed on the past and worrying about what you can't change, that doesn't get you any outcome. You also said to wake up the dormant skill sets that you have inside of you, that whatever you're going through, you're going to grow through it, and you can use some skills that's inside of you. And also, we've always been reinventing ourselves as we grow and as we evolve in life. But coaching allows you to be contributing to that reinvention. At any point in time and space, you can decide, I don't want to be this old version of me. I want to collaborate with my new version. So, for example, I became a coach because I became a mother and decided the corporate world and everything about the hours and the commitment didn't suit me. I wanted to prioritize family life and have a job that has similar or better income, but without me being part of the rat race. So it required me to reinvent myself. That reinvention needed a different me, a new version of me, with new capabilities, new skills, because being an entrepreneur is completely different from working in the corporate world. In the corporate world, you have a job title, you're assigned a role, you sit there and you get it done. An entrepreneur, you have all the responsibilities. So you need much bigger skills in acquiring a client, at bookkeeping, accounts, marketing, and, stepping out your comfort zone in a completely different way that you might have been smashing it in your corporate world, but you just need a different version of you. So I took a coach to help me to reinvent that new me, and I'm always evolving. I'm enjoying this version of me, but there's another level of me inside of me. And every time we want to grow and hit those levels within ourselves, we need to grow, evolve, mature, take responsibility in a way that sometimes it's a lot easier when you have somebody holding your hand, keeping you accountable. Like if you want to grow a muscle, I can say I want to change my body. But it's really tough to do it on your own. But it's a lot easier when you have the accountability and the know-how, like you talked about. A coach shows you how. You could take a personal trainer that shows you how. If you want a six-pack, this is what you do. You do cardio for half an hour. They give you the map, because they've been guiding and navigating people through transition years and years, and they have a recipe. Once you get that recipe, you could tweak it to make it your own. You can add your own uniqueness, twists, flavors to make it uniquely your own. But coaching is also sometimes a fast track to get the results that you want, because the person has done it before. They have the proven track record that they've supported several clients through your challenge or obstacle or block or what you're trying to achieve. And they come to you with the tricks and tips and hacks that will help you get there a hell of a mile quicker than if you go through the school of knocks and hard life to find out for yourself.
Exactly. That's the big thing with coaching, is that, like, it helps somebody get somewhere in 6 months what would normally have taken them a year, right? Like that's the biggest attraction to, especially when you're dealing with entrepreneurs, when you're dealing with people who are perhaps going back into the workforce, things like that, right?
And what I love about coaching is that the belief that there's something, everybody has something to offer. There's something unique, something brilliant, some gold inside each and every one of us. And together, the coaching collaboration helps the person to excavate those gems within themselves that sometimes we can't reach those gems on our own. You need somebody to go in with you and bring them out to the point You'll be
Exactly. That's the
surprised
part
what's
that,
inside.
sorry,
Mhm.
that's the part that is exciting about being a coach because it's always different and everybody is
Mhm.
different. And you see, how people transform and, you know, advance and the excitement that they find. Like some of my favorite clients are the ones that like come to you and they're really literally bummed out, right? And they just like, I feel like I can't do anything, I can't accomplish anything. And then when you're finished with them, they're at a totally different place and totally different people, right? And it's just that's what I find to be, probably one of the most extraordinary things about being in coaching.
Mhm. 100%. And also the fact that a lot of people, like you said, feel like they can't or they don't believe in themselves.
Hmm.
And coaching really is helping another person see that you're not broken. There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with you. You just need to take more action on a consistent basis. And
yeah,
um, we are creatures of habits, and maybe the old habits don't serve you anymore. Those habits, to some degree, got you this far. So it's not necessarily bad. It's just, it's not what you need going forward. And you need to implement new habits, new rituals, new routines to get to that
yeah.
next powerful version of yourself. And also to let go of coaching helps individuals to let go of maybe shaming, blaming,
Hmm.
negative traits that are holding space for
Yes.
that a new version of you need to let go of all that past. And letting go is not shaming or blaming or feeling bad about it. It's just thank you for being part of my life until now, but now I don't
Yeah.
need it. But something I really love about coaching, which is what you touched on, is that you can never coach somebody that you don't believe in. And the process of
Hmm.
believing in another person, you end up literally falling in love with them. Not in a romantic sense that you
No,
want to
no,
run off
I know what
and
you
live
mean.
with them,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's an
Yeah.
outpour of love, right? And
Yeah.
we're all more similar than dissimilar. What we want is to feel seen, to feel understood, and to feel heard. And that
Yeah.
process to feel love also, that somebody truly believes in you and they once a week or whenever, however frequent the sessions are, they go, hey, look, stop that shit that you're talking about. Can you
Yeah.
see and hold up your mirror of greatness so that you can see a reflection of what's possible for you? And some clients will borrow our faith in them until their own
Yes.
faith catches up on them.
Right. And
Isn't that
yeah, like
beautiful?
it's all about, that's where it comes in, like limiting beliefs, right? Like taking those limiting beliefs away from somebody so that they're no longer a roadblock to their future. And people have so many and they're caused by different experiences in their lives and the things that they've gone through, and it could be something so really basic from so long ago, like just a teacher that constantly said you don't know how to do this and you can't do this, right? You automatically think when something happens or you're faced with making that kind of decision that you're not capable of doing that because everybody said you weren't, right? And
Yeah.
it's shocking how like I know for me when I started and I was training, that when we were talking about limiting beliefs, I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, who's going to listen to, who's going to like let something that they heard when they were 10 years old or 15 years old affect them when they're 40?
Surprise.
Everyone, hello, right? Like, it's just
Yeah.
because it's embedded in you. And there were some really unique um, processes that you would go through, like it's called like timeline therapy to help people with that type of limiting belief and those types of things that happen and affect their lives. And it's really quite remarkable
Mm.
that people can go back and see when that has happened, when
Yeah.
that what, like, oh my god, and then that revelation when they like, wow,
Mm.
that's amazing, that is what's stopping me from achieving my goals. And it's something that simple, right?
Mm.
That you help them as a coach find that. And
Yeah.
that's what's exciting about it as well.
I think what's also exciting is that our life is a story,
Yeah.
and we're either collaborating with the story and being like the script writer, or we're being driven by our story that somebody else is writing for us.
Yeah.
So what's really beautiful about coaching is to empower the client to be the author of their own life
Yes.
and decide what happens to that superhero individual, where they go, who they
Yeah.
meet, who they eliminate, who comes out of their scene, who gets off the train,
Exactly,
who
right?
comes in
Who's
on
getting
board.
on?
And there's something really beautiful about reframing the story that we're telling about our past. So you were talking about it. One person in your past said, you are so stupid. Say, for example, a primary school teacher
Yeah.
or a parent or somebody said one bad word. That bad word needs to be replaced with a positive affirmation 70 times to replace that bad word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
coaching also helps people to release those words of, how shall I say it, blocks and limitation
Yeah.
that they've
Right.
held on to. Tony Robbins puts it really beautifully: divorce your story and marry your truth, right? Let go of
Yeah.
that past story
Yeah.
and rebuild a new truth that maybe
Yeah.
even using those hurtful words or past, like, I am this way because somebody hurt me when I was younger,
That's
like
right. Right.
powerfully reframe it, powerfully bring it with you. Don't let go of it, but bring it with you to empower you. I'm on a mission to support so many women because I was not confident when I
Yeah.
was younger,
I
so
know that reminds me of a story like I saw quite a while ago, I guess. But it was just like I think some kind of post or something, but it had two gentlemen, kids, brothers, siblings, right? And one was a very successful business person. One was uh, basically an alcoholic on the street. And they said, like, what's the reason you're so successful? And the guy said, because my father was an abusive alcoholic. And then they asked the other brother that was on the street, like, why are you the way you are? Because my father was an alcoholic and abusive, right? So it really it's what you do with what you have, right? And how you go about doing that. Um and the belief you have in yourself. And that's where that person who was successful chose to believe that they were stronger than that, and the other person chose to believe that that was their lot in life, and that's how it worked out, right? So that's that's in its most simplest form exactly what happens to people when somebody does that to you and you choose to let it affect you. And the thing is that a lot of times you don't realize it until much later in your life that it actually has had an effect on you,
oh,
right? And that's why you see so many people struggling.
absolutely. And I think it's so powerful to understand the power of choice.
Yes.
Two
Yeah.
brothers, they made two different choices. I am like this because my dad was an
Yeah.
alcoholic, so I'm going
Yeah.
to go away from alcoholism. And I am like this because this is what I've seen, right? So you can always
Exactly.
choose at any point which direction you go through. The thing that I wanted to add also is that it's hard to do things on your own.
Hmm.
It's really hard to coaching is an adult game, right? It's an adult
Yeah.
sports participating with adults. And that
Yeah.
means you show up as an adult, taking responsibility, letting go of limiting beliefs, showing up in a very mature way that I
Hmm.
know where I am, accepting, understanding where you are. I know what got me here and I know where I want to go. And there's a gap, right?
Yeah.
So knowing where you are and knowing where you want to go. So it
Hmm.
takes a level of, I call it adulthood or maturity or responsibility to say, right, I'm now going to grow up because it's a grown-up sport and I'm going to get to the other side, but
Yeah.
with great intentionality. Because I want to ask you something. Have you ever coached somebody who isn't coachable, and what
Yes.
made them uncoachable?
Well, number one, like I always ask somebody if they feel they're coachable, right? Um, and usually the process of going through taking on a client, you do discover whether or not you can work with that person or not. But occasionally that doesn't always work. And I did come across more than once probably clients that were not coachable, and simply because they refuse to implement or engage in the accountability that I was putting on them, right? And it was, it was a choice, and they chose, and that's the thing. Like you can choose, and you'll see it very clearly for people like us, that we join groups to do better in what we're doing and things like that, right? And then you see how some people do really well and some people just stay doing the same thing for years, right? And it's all about the choices you make to make it happen, right? Like it's you you are held accountable to a point, but the only person that can make you accountable is you. It's just like the only person that can motivate you to do something is you. I can be the most positive person in the world, and I could sell you day in and day out and tell you how amazing you are. But if you're not motivated to do something with that, I'm never going to change that for you, right? Like you have to have that ability of your own. And that, for me, that's what coachable is. Like somebody who is willing to try to influence change upon themselves by, addressing accountability and being accountable for themselves, right? Willing to make that challenge happen. Like I currently have a client right now who really, like, it just it was amazing that we actually ended up having a conversation, because it was so incredibly negative. It was like, I can't even talk to you. Like, no matter what I say or what I said,
Yeah,
in
but
just
yeah, but
yeah, and it was always like boom, 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 and then I don't know why we kept at it, because it seemed like clearly he's not interested. But then I started asking a few different questions, like, how long, if I asked you how long you've been like this, have you been like this your entire life? Or was there specifically something that happened that caused this to change in you? Like what made you, and then it started developing into something else, right? And then, we got into further conversation, and ultimately he signed up for coaching. And it really, like, probably one of the most remarkable changes in somebody that I've seen in a long time, right?
that's
Just that he's turned everything around in such a short and positive period of time. It's just been incredible.
um that's really important to highlight, that
Mm.
coaching is not for everybody.
No, and you
Everybody can
can't coach
sign up
everyone.
for a coach. Everybody can
Yeah,
sign up for a coach. Everybody can take a coach, but
yeah,
coaching is for everybody,
no,
because ultimately you do the work. The
yeah,
client does the work. Um,
yeah,
as Kevin was saying, you can buy the best books, the best
yeah,
courses, take the greatest coach, transformational coach, but actually
mhm,
the coach just supports what you already want to achieve
yeah,
and helps you to navigate to get to the outcome that you're
exactly.
looking for. But
Yeah,
coaches don't do the work for you. So if you want to lose weight, if you want to write a book, if you want to get a pay rise, if you want to upgrade your skill sets, the
yeah,
coach will give you all the tools and tricks and be present to hold space for you to
yeah,
be able to do that. But ultimately, if you're not willing to invest your time, your energy, your efforts,
yeah,
then it's not the right
exactly.
thing for you right now, because
It's yeah,
coaching is work. There's no two ways
it's
about
a
it.
lot
It's
of work. Yeah,
and
it's a
we
lot of
all
work.
have lazy parts.
Um,
I'm not saying I'm always
yeah,
up for it. I have a personal trainer. There's some days I don't feel like it, but 99% of the time I do feel like it. And
yeah,
even when I don't feel like it, I show up anyway, because you never regret a workout. Whatever you put in,
no,
once you show up and you do something,
exactly.
it's better than
Yeah,
not showing up at all. So it really requires a desperate hunger. Like Les
yeah,
Brown says, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be
yeah,
hungry for
yeah,
that next level you, whatever it is that you're chasing, more
yeah.
money, more love, more energy, more resources. You've got to
Hmm.
be hungry for it, because otherwise you won't see it through. And
Yeah,
all the habits and rituals that will be put in place for you, you won't be doing it. You'll be just
yeah.
feeling even worse, because you've invested in yourself
I
financially,
know.
and it is an investment. Coaching isn't cheap. Coaching isn't
No,
cheap, because
no.
somebody's showing up with all their years of skills,
Yeah.
experience, knowledge, packaging it up in a 3 months powerful transformation magic for you, but you've
Mhm.
got to use it to get the results.
Yeah, exactly. And then just along those same lines, is that I've experienced many coaches. You don't. The reason you have like such a huge dialogue before you actually take on a client is to know whether you can actually work together. And, I think more so as a coach, you have to be able to say, you know what, and I'm not going to work with this person for whatever reason, like these reasons, right? But you have to be able to say that and walk away from a potential client because you're not going to be the best person for them, right?
Yeah.
If you can find somebody that's going to be better for them, that's great. But if you don't know somebody else, don't take them on just because you feel like you have to, because it's really important that you have the right connection with the person that you're coaching to be more successful, right?
Totally,
So
totally.
yeah,
And like with everything, we're not all necessarily a good fit to work for each other. It
yeah,
doesn't mean that
right,
I'm not a good coach or that's not a good coachee.
yeah,
It just means that maybe Kevin might be the one that brings out the best in that
hmm,
person. Or we've all got our unique coach or
yeah,
coaches. Even if you're looking at confidence coach, you'll find
yeah,
confidence coach with a unique style because we're all coming with our uniqueness, our experiences, our triumphs and our tribulations and whatever else.
hmm,
So yeah, you're right. It's very important to qualify if the individual is
yeah,
coachable, but also that you are a good fit to work for each other. Because
absolutely,
it might not be, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to get their outcome. It's
yeah,
just some clients are not a good fit for each other.
yeah, exactly.
What makes your style unique though, Kevin? What if somebody, like for example, I think I'm quite tough in the way
Hmm.
that, I was raised by a military father and I'm not the coach. And coming from an African background as well, it's very much
Hmm.
a work ethic more than holding space for somebody
Yeah.
to keep repeating the class. It's about progress and getting you
Hmm.
the results in the transition. So what style of coach are you? How would you describe you?
I think I have a lot of empathy for people and their situations, and I find it very easy to relate to people. Um, and I think that's where I find the most success in my business is that my clients feel very comfortable working with me. And I think that's like for me, that's really important that they're open and they feel like, they can do that and reach out to me whenever they want. Um, and I think I've been, successful because of that. And that's what is, you know, I can tell right away what my connection is going to be with somebody. As soon as I start talking to them, I already know that it's going to be, a good connection or a difficult connection or one that, is going to take some work and what that person is going to require of me. And I'm able to know if I can actually do that, right? If I can give that person what they need. I think for me that's important, to know that and to feel that, um, and to know that my clients are that comfortable with me as well. You know, so
That's great. That's great. It's true because every client requires a different level of energy from us.
yeah,
Right? Some clients need that much more support and that much more belief in them. So it takes that much
yeah,
more energy. And other clients just need a little bit of guidance and support and they're on their way. So yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
But
this was a great conversation.
yes, absolutely. I was going to say that there's that thing with group coaching and one-on-one coaching, and it's a lot of people really enjoy the group coaching because they like to have the input of others and see others, and some people just don't want that at all, right? So I have a whole mixed bag of clients when it comes to stuff like that. But that's something that you have to be aware of too, right? That person doesn't want to be part of a group in that, they want that one-on-one, and it's
Yeah.
important to make sure that you give them what they want.
Absolutely. And there's, as you said, advantages to and disadvantages to both sides. On the
Hmm.
one hand, one-on-one, obviously you get the dedicated hour tuned into your unique challenges and problems only. But group coaching, I find that it's nice to be surrounded by like-minded, heart-minded
Yeah,
people. And you learn
supportive.
by listening to their insights, their
Hmm.
processes,
Yeah,
their shares effectively. And there's
yeah.
something really powerful about learning in a community of people who are
Hmm.
maybe started from the same level and you're growing and evolving together. And then, of course, obviously, the deeper, meaningful friendships that's unique
Yeah,
from when you're learning with people, when you come together for your own growth and
Yeah,
evolution. Yeah,
I agree.
just
It's
research
good.
and find out the one that's good for you. But
Yeah.
thank you for watching, guys, and I hope this has
Yeah, it's
been
been great.
useful when you're considering a coach. Reach out to
Hmm.
Kevin or myself, needless to say, if you need any support. If you'd like to have a discovery call with us, we're happy to support you in that way.
Absolutely.
But thank you, Kevin, for today, and I'll see
Thank
you
you.
next.
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
probably see you before that, but yes.